Oh, technology sometimes rules. So welcome to you all. And, there's been a slight change in the program because our guest of honor, the Acting High Commissioner of South Africa, Cedric Crowley, has to leave for another program connected with Mandela Day. Some people have woken up after 16 years, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the name should spread in any case. Mandela's name should spread. So I'll invite him to address you. And, we started this whole program in 2008, and it's been 16 years. And some of you have attended this program earlier? Yep. Yes, you have. Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. And then we'll go ahead, and then just now we'll have his address because he has to leave. So can I invite Cedric to come and address the students?
Good morning. Thank you. Namaste, dear students, Program Director, Professor Boka. You say he's the current Executive Director?
Member of the Executive Committee.
Member of the Executive Committee. Titles are very important, huh? Not that matter. So wonderful to be here with you today, dear students. And I thank you for taking the time. And also to thank your teachers for bringing you today. Today we are celebrating the 106th birthday of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, a wonderful human being that lived on this earth and died in 2013. Were you born then already? You were? Okay, you all look so young. But what he left us is a legacy that we want to continue. And it can only continue through you, the students, the next generation, that must take up this battle, take up this campaign to eradicate poverty, inequality, injustice. President Mandela learned a lot from Mr. Gandhiji, who also lived in South Africa. So it seems South Africa is a fertile ground for producing peacemakers, reconcilers. I can't remember how many Nobel laureates do we have, Mr. Mamabolo? No, it's more. Nelson Mandela, Albert Lethuli, Desmond Tutu. At least in peace, there are three. And Desmond Tutu and Nelson, he failed that question, eh? What must I do with him? What happens with you when someone fails the exams? He will stay behind, eh? Professor Boka, please. He will remain behind. So you know that President Mandela and Archbishop Tutu lived in the same street in Soweto. Can you imagine that? How coincidental is that? How unique is it that one country, children growing up in the same street, he didn't grow up there, he moved there, but eventually receiving that high honor of getting the Nobel laureate. And so, colleagues, dear children, that peacemaking is a difficult task because not everyone is interested in peace. If you look in the Middle East, if you look in Ukraine, you will see a world at war. So the ideals of Mandela, the ideals of Gandhiji is as much relevant today as it ever was. The technology exists today that can destroy this planet. People are threatening with nuclear bombs. And the Secretary General, when he was in Germany at a conference in February called the Munich Conference, he said the world is in grave danger. And that is not the legacy we must leave for you. We must give you the inheritance of a peaceful world. We should address the issues of debt And that sustainability, because those governments that are spending that money, it's you that will have to pay it in future, correct? And so we must hold our governments accountable. We must ensure that they prioritize the youth and children in particular. Mandela was so fond of children. I think he found presidents and kings very, very boring. But when he was with children and youth like you could see his smile. I think it's also because he spent 27 years in jail, being taken away from his children. Imagine not seeing your dad for 27 years. And so when he saw children, and he saw every child as his child, he has a foundation now that focuses on health. But he was particularly interested in your education, because he was in jail and still studied. You are fortunate that you are in school, and in good schools. And so you must focus on your education. If you want to make a difference, you must take your studies serious. I'm reflecting sometimes, and I spoke to Mr. Mamabolo yesterday of how President Mandela inspired us. Because today we are fortunate to represent our country in your great country. But it's only because we had the opportunity to go to school. And that opportunity was not there for many, many before us. Many could not complete education. And they are living lives of poverty because of a system, not because they didn't want to or decided they don't want to go to school one day. The government of that day decided you will not get the best education, and the schools would be so far and distant from you that it made it almost impossible for those kids to complete their education. So take advantage. Mandela is the one that said education is the great engine tool of personal development. It's through education that the child of a farmer can become a doctor, child of a mine worker, the president of a great nation. It's what we do with what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. And so if there's one thing we can do in our communities, Professor Boka, last week I went to a school event, because the point I want to make is that you also have agency. You also have the ability to change things. I went to an event where a school have an outreach program. It's called Adopt a Granny. So they go and sit once a week and speak to this elderly persons, these elders in their community. And last week they had rations that they also provided to these elders. And I could see the difference, the smile. You know, if you a parent, elderly person, and you don't live with your children, you need that community, you need that interaction. And the way those elderly people embraced it and how they appreciated it. And so I thought that is only possible because these are children. It may not be the same if I go and speak. They'll always see there's barriers, differences, or what. But for them to engage you and to tell you about their stories can be inspirational for you as well. So if you see our elders, please respect them. If you can do something for them, please do something to improve their lives and their stay on this earth, because they ultimately were the ones responsible for ensuring that we have India now as the 5th biggest economy in the world through their dedication. Yes, it's through governments, but it's the contribution of citizens in the country that also made your country grow to the extent that it did. And so, my dear, lovely students, you are so well disciplined. I wish I was a teacher. Mr. Mamabolo, do you find such attentive students back home? You don't, eh? So India is setting a fantastic example for us. And you are setting a good example because you are ambassadors of your homes, of your schools, of your province or state, as you call it in India, and of your country. So excellencies, that is what we call ambassadors. You are all excellencies, high commissioners and ambassadors, because you represent something, be it your religion, be it your family, be it your school, be it your country. And so, young ambassadors, I want to leave you and tell you that as young as you are, it is still in your hands, as long as you remember. And we want to thank the school system in India for always making Mandela Day part of their curriculum, of allowing you to come here, for allowing you to express through your art and through the programs that you have during this day and during this week to remember Mandela. It is in our hands, as he said, and it is still in our hands. So may we, in each of our corners, contribute as best we can to creating this just, peaceful, reconciled world where the future looks brighter, that despite the negativity that is happening around us, we in our communities, in our schools, contribute and share kindness, love, and compassion. That will make us better people and better humans. So thank you so much for listening to me. Enjoy the rest of the program. I unfortunately have to leave, but I leave you in the company of my counselor. And I wish you a wonderful Nelson Mandela Day. God bless you. Okay, I need to leave.
Yeah, no, just 2 minutes, 2 minutes. We'll, thank you, High Commissioner. So we'll just take a quick photograph with all of you. All of you stand up, and the camera will come here, and we'll take a group photograph. Just 1 second. We'll just... Madiba tujhe salam. Okay? We'll all, do our traditional civilizational salam. So we'll say, Madiba tujhe salam. You're holding it upside down, I say. Hold it straight up. Yeah, that's okay. Everybody hold it straight up. Okay? Yeah. So, Madiba tujhe salam. Okay? Salam, salam, salam. Okay. We go ahead now.
Madiba tujhe salam.
Salam, salam, salam.
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 Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the best. Thank you.
Just leave him and come and join the back. Pick up the stage for the song, please. Dipale school. Dipale.
Excuse me.
लो, मैं नहीं कहूँगी मुँह पे तू यार साइड में बहुत मैं लिपसिंग सामने रख दिया सही है, ठंड लग रहा है।
खाली तो थे और
अभी तक क्या था कि कोई आकर एक दिया जला देता था। हमने कहा कि हम साझेपन का काम करेंगे, सामूहिक काम करेंगे, सबकी भागीदारी, सबका साथ, सबको जोड़कर अगर काम करना है तो ज़्यादा ताकतवर होता है। तो इसलिए सब बच्चे इसको लाइट को छुएंगे और फिर ये बच्चे आकर ये लाइट को यहाँ जलाएंगे। तो आप सबकी भागीदारी होगी ना। तो हम सब मिलकर एक साथ काम करेंगे तो हमारी ताकत बढ़ेगी, हमारा एक नया दृष्टिकोण आएगा। अभी तक क्या था, 2 बच्चे आते थे, 4 बच्चे आते थे, वो करते थे। एक साथ चलेंगे बेटा, रुक जाओ, हाँ सब आ जाएंगे, ये आने दो, हाँ यहाँ से कर देंगे। आ जाओ, यहाँ आ जाओ, नीचे आ जाओ, नीचे आ जाओ, क्योंकि वो बच्चे वहाँ खड़े हुए हैं। कर लीजिए बेटा, जल्दी जल्दी टच करिए। आप भी यहाँ खड़े हैं, वो जो बच्चे नहीं रह गए उनको पूछ लीजिए कौन रह गए, उनसे करवाइए। उधर हो गया सबका, सबने टच किया, ठीक है। इधर हो गया सबका, चलिए तो आ जाइए बेटा, ले आइए, आप सब लेकर आइए। ये सब बच्चे आएंगे जिनके हाथ में, आ जाओ। अब सब लोग मिलकर एक साथ इसको प्रज्वलित करेंगे, जलाएंगे, लाइटिंग करेंगे। चलिए शाबाश, एक साथ लगाओ सब साथ। बस हो गया। अगर ज़्यादा करेंगे तो मोम ज़्यादा गिर जाएगा तो नहीं कर पाएगा, इसलिए बाकी हट जाएं, एक कर ले। अब एक लगा दें। हो गया ना? वो वैक्स ज़्यादा हो गया होगा ना, इसलिए वो कवर नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। मुझे तो जल गया है। ओ, क्यों नहीं? हाँ जल तो रहा है, पर क्योंकि वो वैक्स आ गया ना, ज़्यादा हो गया, इसके कारण ज़्यादा वैक्स गिर गया। चलिए वो वैक्स ज़्यादा हो गया ना, कोई बात नहीं। आ गया।
Good morning. Good morning. Is my mic on? I need a response. Good morning. So, good morning, one and all present here. We are the students of the Palia School. So, we are very honored to be here, to be a part of this occasion. And we are going to present two songs. One is Make Me a Channel of Your Peace. And the second is God Still Loves the World. Thank you.
the photo off, okay? So that you remember this. Just, yeah. Come towards it. Hold it tight up. And don't hide your faces. Okay, in the center. Put it in the center. Yeah. This has been, all of you must know, it's been made by tribals in Jharkhand in the salute of Madiba. Okay? Yeah. Now, you can. Give them a big hand. So wrap it round back. यहीं रखो इसे फिर अगले ग्रुप के साथ
the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. He says all that glitters is gold. Half that story ain't never been told. So now you see the light. You stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything, and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you go look for yours on the sun. Now you see the light. You stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. We are sick and tired of racism, schism, getting kind and good and the energy just we know when we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now you see the light. You stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Come on! Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Ja, ja!
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I'm just checking the center. Yeah, I think it's in the center. Hold it tight. Put that pole up. The side pole up. ऊपर कर दो एकदम सर के ऊपर.
नहीं. Unroll that.
Below your faces.
टाइट करो वहाँ से. तुम्हारे का वो पोल वो यहाँ से कर. बस कर अब कर टाइटली. अब एक सेकंड रुक जाओ वहाँ पे. उससे ज़्यादा हो रहा है रुक जाओ वेट. जल्दी करना.
Bukani, oh Bukani mawetu, nikede, oh bafela abantu, ukuna makonto, uya memeta, safela isizwe, sinkitana mabulu, welele, oh welele kabane, Mandela, o kausi pendule, sifuna mabulu, ano kusidela, baila bafana, bayo kuwashaya,
Now, all of you know the theme of today? What's the theme? Huh? Sorry? No, that's not the theme, I say. That's the occasion. You don't know the difference between the theme and the occasion? The theme of we are, of course, here to commemorate and celebrate Madiba's 106th birthday. But the theme is education. For God's sake. Huh? Haven't you been told by your faculty members? Because naturally the message couldn't reach to all of you. So we reached you through the faculty. So you've been told that we are going to, and you say, can somebody remember the quote? Does anybody remember the quote? Do you remember the quote? Okay, it doesn't matter. Sit. At least you had the courage to say that you remember. Okay, so the quote I'll just read. Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. So you are all recipients of prized education. So you must take that forward and take your community forward, take the nation forward, and in the final analysis, take the world forward. So now we have the message from the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, to be read by Darren Ferrand, the director of the United Nations Information Center for India and Bhutan. So would you come up, sir?
Nelson Mandela showed us the extraordinary difference when person
Thank you,
can
Suhas.
make
Good
in
morning,
building a
everyone.
better world.
Happy
And as the
Nelson
theme of
Mandela
this year's
International
Nelson
Day.
Mandela International Day reminds us
So,
combating poverty and inequality is in our hands. Our world is unequal and divided. anger.
Okay, that's a little taste, a sample of what we're about to hear. I'll be very brief. I'll be brief so you can hear his words. As you heard, my name's Darren Farrand. I'm Director of the UN Information Centre here for India and Bhutan, and it's an honour to be here with you. What a rousing performance we heard from those choirs today. Can we have another round of applause? When the theme is education and you see the legacy, the universal appeal of Madiba's values, the global applicability, I think it really resonates today. I'd like to also acknowledge some of our distinguished guests here, including from the South African High Commission. Today is always a special day for the UN, Mandela Day. We've been celebrating it since 2010, when the UN General Assembly recognised 18th of July, which was Mandela's birthday, as the day. And it was a resolution that was universally adopted by every UN member state, because every country around the world recognised Mandela's values, his dedication to the service of humanity, in conflict resolution, in reconciliation and race relations, in human rights, gender equality, the rights of children and other vulnerable groups, the fight against poverty, and the struggle for social justice. And that struggle continues. So as you see, Secretary General of the UN, that's Antonio Guterres, has recorded a video message, and I think we can press play now.
Showed us the extraordinary difference one person can make in building a better world. And as the theme of this year's Nelson Mandela International Day reminds us, combating poverty and inequality is in our hands. Our world is unequal and divided. Hunger and poverty are rife. The richest 1% are responsible for the same quantity of planet-wrecking greenhouse gases as 2/3 of humanity. These are not natural facts. They are the result of humanity's choices. And we can decide to do things differently. We can choose to eradicate poverty. We can choose to end inequality. We can choose to transform the international economic and financial system in the name of equity. We can choose to fight racism, respect human rights, combat climate change, and create a world that works for all humanity. Every one of us can contribute through actions large and small. I joined the Nelson Mandela Foundation in urging everyone to perform 67 minutes of public service on Nelson Mandela International Day, 1 minute for each year he fought for justice. Together, let's honor Madiba's legacy and turn our hands towards building a better world for all.
I think you'll agree they're inspiring words. They tell us that we have a choice, each and every one of us, every day, to try and build a better world. So with that, I hand back to Suhas. Happy Nelson Mandela International Day. Thank you.
So now we go into the interactive session. Councillor, please come. So, now I'd like our friend and associate from the South African High Commission to set the ball rolling. Okay? Now, if with your permission, you see, he exemplifies that great theme which we are discussing today. When I asked him for a note on his background, you know, he was proud to tell me, very proud to tell me that his parents were domestic workers. You know, that's the change which Madiba brought about in South Africa. And now he is heading a part of the High Commission to our country. You know, So can you imagine how education transforms? So he is a living example of that transformation, if I may say so. Yes. So yours the floor, please go ahead.
Perhaps I should say a few words about what you've just
Please.
mentioned.
And then we'll go on.
Yes, about education in terms of my experience. As he said, I come from a family of domestic workers in rural Limpopo province. My parents actually worked far in Johannesburg. We never grew up with them. So I had to look after, actually, as a young person, I had to look after my siblings because I'm a firstborn. So I had to wash for them. We didn't even have water in the house. So we washed in the rivers. And at the same time, I had to read. But one day, when I was in grade 12, I walked into a library in my village. And there is a history of, between that library and India. I'll explain why. For many years, we had an Indian family. I think their surname was Abdul. They had a shop. They had a shop in the village for many years. They came from Pretoria. So when they left my village after they've done business, they left a library. And then they put lots of books. One of the books that they had was Nelson Mandela biography, autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. So I got hold of it. It was a huge book like this. And I read it until the end. And that's where I came across the quotation that he had made, that education is important. And it transformed me. I never looked back. And then, in fact, if it was not that book, I would not have been where I am today. I would not have even finished my education. So that is how Nelson Mandela inspired me. Now, we are here now. I'm here to listen to your questions. Interactive session, as he said. I think you'll join me as well as part of the interactive session. If you have any questions, you are free to ask us. And we expect a lot of questions because you are a very brilliant student from private school. Yes, please. We'll start.
Hold on, we have to get the mic. The mic, please. You pick up the next one. Okay. Yeah, just hold on.
Sir, I had been wondering if Nelson Mandela had any other problems except like the challenges he faced because of his skin color. Like, did he have any other problems?
Good question. Should I answer them as they come?
Yeah, as they come. Yeah, go ahead. But it will be very briefly.
If you read his book, and I urge everyone to do that, there are children versions, there are also adult versions. So please read the book. He came from the same family, the same background where I come from. Yes, you can say he came from a royal family. But those royal families were not rich because they did not have land. Colonialism came in, and then all the land that they had was stolen from them. So they were not rich. In fact, if you read the book, you'll realize that he did not even have school uniform and shoes to go to school. So his mother had to take a trouser of his father, cut it, because in South Africa school children wear shorts. So she had to cut the shorts for him to be able to school. And he walked without shoes. So those are the challenges that he was faced with, poverty. I hope I've answered your question. Go and read the book. It's quite inspiring.
So, mention the name of the school before you. That's Bluebells. So the name, because you'll be taking a teen prize if you are very interactive. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Give him the mic.
Yes.
Mention the school.
Hello. Good morning, sir. I am from the Manthan School. I have a question that Nelson Mandela's philosophy of Ubuntu is something which always comes to surface when we talk about him. I would be thankful if you shed some light on how this concept helped him lead his life and also change his leadership style and be effective in today's world scenario.
Very good question. And it shows that you read as a student.
Thank you, sir.
Ubuntu is an African word. It can loosely be translated as it's a philosophy of African people. All over Africa, by the way, it's not only South Africa. It can be translated as I am because you are. That has influenced how Mandela conducted himself, his leadership style of respecting people, irrespective of where they come from, the background, or class, or color. So now his leadership style then becomes, because of that background of Ubuntu, he becomes very transformational. That everything that he touches when he became a president was about transformation, changing the lives of people, ordinary people. I think I've answered your question. Baby girls.
Hold on, take the mic. Mic.
Hi sir, good morning sir. My name is Kaisha Bhan and I'm from OPG World School. So my question to you is, India has free and compulsory education policy till the age of 13. Does South Africa too have such policies to advance education and to administer new future leaders?
Good question again.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a policy of free education in primary. But actually it's not free as such. I mean, those who are indigent, poor, do not pay school fees. Only those who have money can pay. Yes, we do. I mean, again, that is a legacy of Nelson Mandela, legacy of education. The entire, let's say from when you study school until you finish primary. Yes.
Which school is this?
Yes.
Now we'll just take a little break and we'll show a clip. Okay. We'll have Madiba come on stage.
All right.
Come.
Should I sit down?
Yeah, sit down, please sit. So let's play yeah. Now this is, you must watch this very intently, okay? We are going back into history. Audio.
Gandhi, the young 23-year-old barrister who has just arrived in Durban from India, is en route to Pretoria in connection with his legal work.
Careful, don't let Theo say that he's meant to steal our secrets from you. But I must get in touch with him. Whatever for. He's your cousin. Don't you think it would be better to go in for a mutual settlement? Not with Theo. I do not trust him. He doesn't keep his word. As soon as you get to Pretoria, send me a telegram. Aujo, Khudafis.
Hey, Coolie, what are you doing here? Conductor, there's a damn coolie in my compartment.
You're in the wrong compartment. All natives to travel in the van.
Come on, Sammy, don't give us any trouble.
I was issued a ticket for this compartment, and I insist on going in it.
No, you won't.
I will not leave this compartment. Where does it say reserved for Europeans only? Please show me.
Get off my train. Don't kick us, Sammy.
I will not leave the van. I will protest to the authorities.
In the luggage van. That's for you.
Today, we are righting a century-old wrong. This nation, once one of the world's most notorious symbols of discrimination, intolerance, and oppression, today proclaims a message of dignity restored. In contrast to that shameful day, in America and indeed South Africa, is sending a message of hope.
After a long and relentless struggle, we have seen victory against the apartheid regime.
Can we have the lights, please? You know that you saw that? That was a clip from a film which I had made for the Durban summit of the non-aligned movement in 1997. And I just recall a small incident of that. We were traveling with the Prime Minister of India. That time, Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. And we were leaving Durban, where the summit was taking place early. And my daughter, who now of course is an assistant professor at Jamia, she's herself a teacher, but that time she was a student, and she was very keen on getting Madiba's autograph on the first day cover. Okay? So I just scribbled a quick note, at the just below where he was sitting, and left it there with the he was at the podium. I left it with the secretary to the secretary, okay? And then lo and behold, after a couple of weeks, I got a huge envelope, with the insignia of the president of South Africa. And there it was with his autograph on the first day cover. What a humble and a gentle soul he was. This I'm telling you personally. And I mean, he was such a man who touched you when you met him. And I had the honor of doing that when I traveled to South Africa. That was in 1998, and the one when I met him personally, it was in 1997. So we can now resume. Come.
For the video.
Yeah. Thank you. Come.
I think the video, as you have seen, reflects exactly what apartheid was all about. It was about racial discrimination. It was about you couldn't use a toilet or lavatory that was used by white people. So I think from that you can understand what apartheid was all about. It was a reality. Yes, let me give you a chance to ask a question.
Just identify your school before you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Soumya and I'm from Bal Bhavan Public School. Sir, my question is that as we know, Mandela served one term as a president from 1994 to 1999. I just want to know that what were the main reasons behind Mandela's decision to step down after one term as a president?
Very clever question. Madiba was a very humble man and very democratic man. And remember, he was in prison for many, many years. I think he felt that he was tired. He had to give new generation of leaders chance to lead the country. Also to serve as an example, especially in Africa, where you have presidents who want to serve for life. So he wanted to change that narrative, that mentality. Good question. Wow, so many hands.
No, we'll avoid the same school. If your school has already asked one, because others must get a chance. Has your school asked? Yeah, go ahead, give it to her. Which school is this? Identify.
Good morning, sir. I'm Yashika Vaid from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Mehta Vidyalaya. And I was really curious to know about how did Nelson Mandela's time in prison impact his life? What was his struggles and how he overcome it? What we can learn from it and what was his psychology and mindset?
Very good question again. There are many people who think that it's just a perception of people, actually, especially critics, that Mandela came out of prison as a finished man, as a man who could not think better. They are saying that because despite what he went through, the torture in prison, he came out and forgiven his enemies. So many people think that he was not well anymore. But that is not true. The impact of prison, it made him more human. It made him more human than before. And I must mention that while he was in prison, he devoured a lot of work by Mahatma Gandhi in terms of non-violence approach to situations. So he was very much influenced by India. That's very interesting, isn't it? The relationship there. Yes. So that was a very good question, actually. I like it. Yes.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Vedika Sharma of Bal Bharati Public School, Rohini. So my question is, what steps...
Bal Bharati, say it loud, I say, you're proud
Bal
of
Bharati, Rohini.
Rohini.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What steps Mandela thought that students and educators could take to promote peace and reconciliation in their schools and communities?
Lessons. Yeah, to be tolerant, towards people who are different from you, and also towards the people that look like you. The love, that's very important. I think those are the lessons that you can derive. When you go back to your community, if you see someone different from you or different class, love that person. Treat him as a human being, like you are. Treat him as you want to be treated by. That is Ubuntu. And I think India is rich in those cultures. What is this word? The world is
family.
Absolutely, absolutely. Same as Ubuntu. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, get the mic here. No, the one before, in front of you. The same school? No, different, okay. Yeah. Identify your school.
Good morning, sir. I'm Nitya Mehra from Mount Abu Public School. Sir, Nelson Mandela was keen on sports, especially team sports like soccer and cricket. And India is a huge fan of cricket. India holds the spirit of in its highest regards. But however, we have seen that cricket has also caused riots in India. And not just riots, but
it has caused what?
Riots in India and communal unrest too. So how do you think that Mandela's belief can reconcile this contrasting reality of India?
Very interesting. Challenging question, sir. Yeah. Mandela was a man of sport. In fact, I'm sure I can feel from what you're saying that you know his background, especially after 95 when there was a World Cup in South Africa. He made use of the opportunity of rugby, rugby taking place in South Africa, the World Cup, to reconcile black and white. In fact, he even transformed the team. It was only white team before. So now we began to see black people also, and Indians, people of Indian diaspora, taking part in the sports, in the cricket. By the way, you just defeated our team not long ago. So you are good. I agree. Thank you.
The next one, yeah.
Good morning, sir. My name is Pranjal and I'm from Bluebells Model School. So my question is that in today's youth, people, or like mostly teenagers, are inspired by film stars and influencers. And they tend to forget like our prominent leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. So can you please suggest some ideas on how the teenagers or the people can get, back and get attracted to these leaders? Thank you.
The professor wants to answer that.
You see, as I always say, you have Gandhi in you, you have King in you, and you have Mandela in you, So you have to look within and get inspired. Because you see, I'm very sorry to say that our generation has not given you role models, I mean, so what we should have been doing to you, we have not doing. And we have not done. So you have a very difficult task before you. You have to become your own role models, and keep the flame. Because you see, the baton, I mean, if you look at the three of them, Mandela, King, and Gandhi. So the baton somehow, we couldn't pass it on correctly to you. Okay? I mean, to put it very mildly. So you must build on those values, and go forward. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I want to return that question back to you. What do you think could be done? Can you tell us? I know you've got answers to that question.
Obviously, we can look up to ourselves only. We can take inspiration from them. They have so many values, and we can look up to them. As sir said that we only have it within ourselves. So the inspiration is everything, and that's all we can take from them.
Thank you. Did your schools ask a question? Okay, please go ahead.
Just 1 second.
They are very clever.
Which one? Inspiration.
Hi sir, my name is Shlok Gaur and I'm from Bal
Be-
Bharati,
Just hold it properly. You can't hear you. Yeah.
Bal Bharati Public School. So I have to ask, South Africa is known as the Rainbow Nation. So does this mean this diversity can result in conflicts in present?
Rainbow Nation. What do you think? What do you think? Why do you think we are a rainbow nation?
Because there is diversity in the country.
Yes, yes. Yes, there are challenges that time and again we faced with. In terms of, community, social, people within different communities getting involved in some small squabbles. But because reconciliation is a policy of the government, we always find a way of dealing with those kind of things through talking, exactly what Mandela did. So we believe that the future is bright for us as a country. We are not going to go back. We don't want to go back. We'll never go back. Yes.
There's one question coming from there. Yeah, go ahead. Your school?
Good morning, sir. Sir, my name is Ananya. I am from Dipalya School. My question is this. Like we have said that Madiba, Tujhe Salam. What is the meaning of Madiba and why he is also called Madiba?
Quite interesting question. Madiba is like me. They call me Kulube. Kulube. These are the totems, traditional way of, totems. Kulube is a pig. So in my, not tribe, it's like in my group, the Mama Bulos in South Africa are called the Kulube. Same as my Mandela is called Madiba. So there is no really specific meaning.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
That.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I don't know if here in India you have such similar way of calling yourself according to your groups, your culture in some places. Very interesting.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, one second. Yeah.
First of all, good morning, sir. I want to ask that what was Nelson Mandela's vision for school name? Mayur School, Noida. What was Nelson Mandela's vision for Mayur School, Noida?
Okay, go ahead.
What was Nelson Mandela's vision for a developed and prosperous South Africa? How did he aspire education for all in South Africa?
His vision of South Africa.
For a developed South Africa.
For developed South Africa.
Yes.
Yes. Obviously, he wanted to see a South Africa that is equal. As we develop as a country, that wealth should, trickle down to every single South African. But it's not always easy, but we are getting there. The second part of the question is?
How did he aspire education for all in South Africa?
In fact, I'm a beneficiary. I just give example of myself. I'm a beneficiary of Mandela's, inspiration to education. For example, when I went to university, my parents did not have money. So through the initiative that Mandela introduced in 1995, called NAFSAS, National Fund Scheme, children of domestic workers, children of laborers were able to get money to go to university. So that's how he actually impacted on education, to make sure that it's accessible to everybody, irrespective of where you come from.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Sir?
Good morning, sir.
Where are you? Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
There's one here.
Good morning, sir. I am from OPG World School. So very thankful for listening from you. So I was always wondering, I read one day about when South Africa got independence, they celebrated the anthems of both black and white.
Yes.
I just was always wondering, like Nelson Mandela and his community, after facing so much of racial discrimination, they're appreciating the anthems of whites also. So, how did they inspire them to appreciate those who were once the reason for their atrocities?
Very, very important question as well. Yeah, I mean, those were his values, to forgive and to make sure that those that have oppressed us, they are also accommodated into the new society that we're going to form. That's why he had to also tap into their own anthem, so that you make, one single anthem that accommodates everyone in the country. I think that was a very important initiative, practical, things that he did, not just ideological or, abstract things. You had to use what people like. Anthem is very important, as you know. White people had so much attached to their anthem and as part of their tradition. So you had to accommodate that in order to build a future prosperous society.
Thank you, sir.
That is a good example.
Good morning, sir.
I think it's in school.
It's a Manthan school.
Manthan is already, you've done that. You want to, you ask, no? Huh? No, this is, let others get an opportunity. We have time for the second round. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Here.
Sir?
Ask the mic quickly, please.
Excuse me, sir. Good morning, sir. My name is Aska.
Yes.
I'm a student of Mayur School, Noida. So my question is, so my name is Aska. I'm a student of Mayur School, Noida.
Mayur School has already asked us now, no? Second round, mate. Hold on. Yeah. Let the first round be completed. We'll come to the second round, if there's time. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. I'm from ASN Senior Secondary School. So my question is that Nelson Mandela always advocated for equality. However, today we were to look at this world, it's not equal at all. In fact, it is unequal. But today, these issues are mostly now subtle. They can be, like people can be ignorant about these issues because they are not as overt as they used to be. So some people say that this.
Go ahead. No, the mic badliye kya?
That these issues are systemic and thus that we should reform this system. However, some say that yes, while these issues are systemic, that these issues are not coincidental. In fact, these
दूसरा mic दे दो यार.
These are in fact roots of a larger system that benefits off from these inequalities. So they say that we should in fact destroy the system. Right. So my question is that you, as someone who follows Nelson Mandela's philosophy, what do you say to this? Do you think that we should reform the system or should we destroy the system and create a new one?
What do you think?
Well, personally, I do think that the camp which says that we should create a new system does have some merit. That yes, that these inequalities are not incidental by any means. These inequalities do tend to have an overarching structure where they do benefit off. For example, people who are in marginalized groups are often exploited for cheaper labor. So I would say I more lean towards the camp that says that we should make a new system instead.
We should destroy this, what we have completely.
Not completely, but instead we should make a new one. Where people are equal and where someone cannot exploit another just on the basis of someone's skin color, gender, or any other problem.
Very interesting views. Thanks for sharing that.
So what is your view?
You have got answers.
No, but I want to know your views because again, you follow Nelson Mandela's philosophy, right? So I want to know your views.
Hopefully, as we continue to celebrate Nelson Mandela Day, and the day that was also declared by the UN as International Day, Nelson Mandela International Day. Hopefully, this message will trickle down, especially to you, young people, This message must trickle down to you so that when you become future leaders, you might become a UN secretary, you might become a president, prime minister of India. So you should be able then to be someone who has consciousness, to be able to change the conditions that you're talking about. If you look at South African foreign policy, we have always been advocating, because we are inspired by Mandela philosophy. So we have advocated for transformation of international system. For example, UN Security Council, we wanted Africa to be represented. You see? So, quite correct, Mandela's values have had much impact on how we conduct ourselves as people. And hopefully, as we continue to celebrate him, one day things will be different. Thank you. Thanks for those brilliant answers. So, and questions, for that matter.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
My name is Ananya Jain from Model Public School, Shalimar Bagh, and my question to you is, what do you mean by courage? Like, what do courage mean to Mandela, and what ideas does he set out for future for South Africa?
Courage means that you don't have to give up, even if you are, have problems. You think you have problems. Have the courage to move forward, So that is exactly what we as a country, because we learned from Mandela, we have courage to move, despite the challenges that we have. We have courage to move with the hope that one day things will change to a better. That is courage. And everyone must have a courage to succeed.
What are the ideas to set out for future of South Africa?
The areas you're talking about, for example, now we have got triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment.
Yes, sir.
So now those are we have priorities. Government has prioritized those areas as the areas that we need to, work on to help our people to achieve a better life.
Thank you.
Free from poverty.
Good morning, sir. My name is Lavanya and I'm from Uttam School for Girls, Ghaziabad. I have a question that this one time I read an article which informed that Nelson Mandela learned to speak a language called Afrikaans, if I'm pronouncing that
Afrikaans.
Right. Afrikaans.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And he learned this language during his stay in prison. So I just wanted to know that how was he able to learn an entirely complete language in such circumstances, and how did that influence his stay in the prison?
Very, very interesting question. Afrikaans is the language of the former oppressors in South Africa. Now, because he had a vision to reconcile people when he was out of the prison, so he had to learn that language. And how did he do it? That's a good question. Some of the people that, from the, what do you call them, correctional services in South Africa, we call them, the people who got the prisoners, were Afrikaners. So time and again, he will engage with them to learn the language. In fact, there is an interesting story. When he was a president, one of the people who used to guard him, they were in a restaurant. Mandela was in a restaurant somewhere in Cape Town. And that person was also in the restaurant by coincidence. Mandela invited him to his table. Come and sit with me. That man he had so much fear. He didn't want to join Mandela. Mandela said, come and join me, because he had the fears. Remember, he used to mistreat him in the prison. So he thought that Mandela was going to revenge against him. But he didn't do it. And he spoke with him in Afrikaans. Then the man started opening up, That's a very brilliant question. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, just repeat the name.
Lavanya Singh from Uttam School for Girls.
Good morning, sir.
Where is this? Okay.
Good morning, sir. I am Arjav Jain and I am from Bal Bharati Public School, Bridge Vihar. Sir, I was very confused and I really wanted to know that how did Mandela manage to get aside of all the hatred and discrimination that he used to face at that time, and how to become a good and humble leader like him?
I did not get the first part of the question. How did he?
How did he manage to get aside of all the hatred and discrimination that he faced at that time?
All right. That's a very challenging question, isn't it? Nelson Mandela, we are also still surprised as people. How did he manage, to do away with that? But if you read his book again, he keep on saying, I was influenced by great people like Gandhi, If you read, you must read Gandhi in order to understand Nelson Mandela. And then read King, Dr. King, who was also influenced by Gandhi to understand Nelson Mandela. That's a very good question, by the way. I may not have an answer. Yeah?
Sir, yes.
Yes.
Sir, I have also one more question.
Please. That's enough. Due to time constraints, please give another person chance. Go ahead.
Good morning, sir. I am Aryan from the Palya school. Sorry for interpreting. It's our school's second round. But my main question, since it's been 2 years when I have read the brief of Long Walk to Freedom written by Nelson Mandela, the autobiography. So might I have been forgetting everything, but a quote that stick to my mind and the meaning, what I want to ask you, Nelson Mandela once said that never, never again this beautiful land will experience the oppression by one another. So I was very gradually thinking that when I'll get the answer. So can you please answer?
What is your question there?
I have a quotation that said that is said by Mandela.
Yeah, what is your question? Yeah.
So I want to just know the meaning on the instances that the Mandela said the quotation. The quotation is, never, never again this beautiful land will experience the oppression by one another.
Very, no, I understand you now. Look, oppression was very horrible to those who were oppressed. Not only those who were oppressed, also the aggressors. It had made them inhuman. So, by saying never, never again, that was very profound. He meant that we don't want to go back where we come from. White people themselves, it's not that they were well, they were not well. And later we realized that actually all human beings were the same. We've got the same fears. We've got the same interest. The only problem is ideologies. I mean, in one of when I remember when Chris Khan was killed, and South Africa nearly went into a violence. So, the person who was able to help us to get Chris Hani arrested was a white woman. You understand? So they were also human beings as well. So by saying those words, Mandela wanted to show us, both white, black and white, that we can live together and move forward.
I understood. Thank you.
Yeah, you got the mic? The back. First, yeah.
Good morning, sir. My name is Tuti Jain from Ramjas School, Pusa Road. My question is to you that what significant events led to Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990?
What significant?
Events.
What significant events led to Nelson?
Fine.
Very interesting one as well. Look, we did not fight apartheid alone as people. It was going to be impossible. So the world was changing. For example, communism, during this Cold War, it was coming to an end. And capitalism was winning the day against communism. So there was wind of change globally. So now, as a result, the white people in South Africa could not sustain apartheid because of the pressure that was coming from, people of the world. Anti-apartheid struggle, demonstration in London, in America, everywhere in the world, put much pressure on the apartheid government to abolish it. There were also sanctions. The South African government at that time was sanctioned by the international community. Those were some of the highlights in terms of the significant, events that led to the release of Nelson Mandela. International solidarity.
Good morning, sir.
The name of the school, cut out the good mornings now, if we're getting into...
I am from Ramjas School, Pusa Road.
No, you already asked one, no, just now? Ramjas Pusa Road was just asked. So let's finish the first round. Somebody has already gone twice. Okay, go ahead. If your school has asked already? No. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. So my name is Ayansh Borgharia. I'm from Salvan Public School, Gurugram. Sir, I wanted to ask you, as we've inferred from what you have told us right now, the ideologies of Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi were quite similar. But on what fronts and aspects do you think that their philosophies regarding to freedom and racial discrimination differed from one another?
You see, even though Mandela was influenced by Gandhi, especially in terms of the usage of violence as a weapon to overthrow the oppressors. Mandela went on and established what we call Umkhonto weSizwe, a military organ that we were going to use to fight against, apartheid, against this apartheid state. So in that way, there are some differences. But eventually, because of the pressure that the regime was subjected to, and the fact that white people then reached out, they began to reach out to the blacks. The blacks, I mean South African black people who look like me, and the Indians. You saw that the Indians were also oppressed. So we were in solidarity as black people of South Africa to fight against apartheid. So the difference was about violence and non-violence. There were some differences there. But as I said, eventually, when white people started to, reach out, so non-violence approach, got an upper hand. Thank you very much for that question.
Any school which has not been asked yet, because we finished the round now. Any school which is left out? Any school which is left out? No? I think there's no time now for the session.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you should. Yeah. Thank you very much for your questions. Huh?
Okay. We've been overwhelmed by the numbers this year. So we'll now, before we ask Bluebell's choir to sing the anthems of both the schools, both the countries, South Africa and India, I just want to quickly make, and then we ask our director from the United Nations Information Center to give away the 3 prizes of the best interventions. I just have to quickly make a short observation. Now, before I do that, 2 minutes. I'll ask an associate of mine. He's picked up that question on inspiration very much, And Sahu, will you come and address that? He's been inspired by that question to say a few words. Okay, go ahead.
I think one student asked, in this age of, overwhelming impact of the film personalities, influence or whatever it is. So, I mean, how do the children or the younger generation would get inspired, to remain tuned to the legacy of Gandhi, Mandela, or legacy of great minds? So actually, in this context, I'll just quickly say that who were the influencers for Mahatma Gandhi? During his own time, when he was a child, okay, so there were no films at that time, or the positive influence of films and so on and so forth. So what Gandhi did, he said, he wanted to be, he wanted to create satyagrahis, to offer satyagraha, non-violent fight. So he said, who were the satyagrahis before Gandhi? So Gandhi, what he did, he located 5 satyagrahis in mythology and history. He said they were the sources of inspiration. So who were those 5 satyagrahis? He said first satyagrahi was from Hindu mythology, and he was a child. Child, the name all of you must be familiar, Bhakt Prahlad. From mythology, Prahlad was subjected to violence by his own father. He said, stop reciting the name of Lord Hari, or else his father, he said he would kill him, and he conspired to kill him. But Prahlad refused to submit himself to the dictates of his own father. But while praying his own Lord Hari, he never prayed Hari to kill his father, so that he will remain in peace and recite the name of Lord Hari. So Gandhi said, like Prahlad, we have to fight against British rule without hating the Britishers. So you see, that inspiration came from Hindu mythology and from the child Bhakta Prahlad. And second satyagrahi, according to Gandhi, was from Greek history, that was Socrates, who drank poison. Okay, and he had no ill will against the king who ordered him to drink poison. And third satyagrahi, according to our source of inspiration, was Jesus Christ. That example is well known. And fourth satyagrahi, according to Gandhi, is from Islam, Imam Hussain. Yesterday Muharram was observed. It is observed to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. So, often Islam and Muslims are projected in a very prejudiced and pejorative manner. But Gandhi derived the lessons of Satyagraha from Imam Hussain. And the fifth Satyagrahi, according to Gandhi, fifth source of inspiration for Satyagraha, Gandhi said is the only woman Satyagrahi. That was Mirabai. Mirabai, Mira Bhajans, she was also poisoned. She was thrown out of her house by her own in-laws, by her own husband. But in none of the compositions of Mirabai, there is any hatred for all those oppressors. So therefore, Gandhi was inspired by such examples from our own mythology and history. That's what I wanted.
Thank you very much. Now, I just want to point out to you 3 lessons from Madiba's political life. Okay? Lesson number 1. Nelson Mandela's leadership was not divisive. He didn't divide his people. Now that's very critical. And it's critical to the times we live in India. Nelson Mandela's leadership was not divisive. He did not sow hatred among his people against others. And his leadership bound people together. I mean, look at it. He goes for reconciliation even against his oppressors. Now that was the power of that man. And to quote him, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Lesson number 2. Mandela led his country and left office being morally clean and ethically upright. Now that's again a lesson for us. We have to guard against leadership which is rife with political profiteering, swindling, material aggrandizement, filling the pockets of their cronies, and looting the meager national cake. Okay? We have a national cake. Every country has a national cake. Now, Madiba never touched that national cake. He shared it with his people. Lesson number 3. In his book, Long Walk to Freedom, which you all talked about, Nelson Mandela wrote, I quote, I never lose, I win or I learn. That symbolized Madiba's life. I repeat, I never lose, I either win or I learn. मैं कभी नहीं हारता, या तो मैं जीतता हूं या मैं सीखता हूं. Whether you are in the sports field, running a race, playing cricket, playing hockey, writing an exam, debating, are you in an elocution competition, or in anything, the next time something challenging happens to you, you can either let it pull you down, or you can think that it is something to learn from. Next time something challenging happens, you should emerge stronger. You should consider the challenge as a gift. If we don't experience any difficulties in our lives, we will never grow. So these are some lessons I think we and you all must learn from Madiba's life. Okay? So now we come to the end of the program and we'll call Bluebells to sing. Before that, we give away the prizes. Sir, can you come? Now these are, you did all so well. Mamolo, can you also come, please? Come. We did. The prizes have come from the United Nations Information Center. And there's a very heavy book which has come. And it says 70 decades and beyond, the UN India Connect. Thank you very much for these gifts. Now, you see, this is now a subjective thing. Everybody did very well. But after all, you have to choose. Okay? Some choice has to be made of the interactive session and where we did well. So the first goes to Manthan and Ubuntu. Can you come? The second question, goes, I mean, they're all parallel prizes, no first and second. But the number 2 prize goes to this is the one who did that inspiration. Which school is that? Yeah, come. You inspired a question right here. Did very well. The third one goes to the one who asked on the prison. That's Mehta School, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. I think the three prize winners, if you can come back and take a shot together. Okay? Yeah, come quickly. And the bluebells can come and please do the anthems now. Come, I think we'll move up. All the three prize winners and we all come. Ramesh bhai, Now, just after the anthem, everybody must collect a food packet which has been prepared by our kitchen at the India International Center. Okay? So you shouldn't go hungry. And we'll also take a group photograph with our two guests of honor. Mike, Raju? We need the mics.
आ जाओ लड़के इधर आ जाओ सामने देख लो हां खड़े रह
Thank you very much. Thank you.
शक्ल देख के
Have you